Hey guys, what's up? It's Jax and Wildy, and today we are back on Cavecraft to do some more cave crafting in the fantasy land.
We are going to be adding a wonderful fairy-style pathway winding through all of the village houses.
So, let's get going and get pathing. Okay, so before we actually start pathing, there's been a lot of work getting done around this fairy kingdom, hasn't there, Wild?
There certainly has. You can see a rough outline for where the path is going today, and the idea is that they're going to wind between all the houses. And you can also see that DG has put in some of these adorable little mushroom houses around these larger mushrooms.
Look at them.
And I've got some red and pink wool here, GG, so I'm going to put in some markers so DG knows where some more are going to go around this house.
I also got an elytra, thanks to DG. He got me an elytra, which was awesome.
Oh my goodness, DG is the DG of the month.
Yes, he is.
All right, where should we put one? I think we
What's that, Wild?
What's what? Oh, there's a chest hanging from there.
What is this?
Oh, it's a gift flower, JG.
Is it? Oh, it is.
I guess so.
It says hi. Hello. I think this might be from DG. I'm going to take one of these flowers, one of these
It's
stacks.
a pinata, JJ. It's a pinata.
It is. Ready? And...
Rocket.
Well, no, now I can go. Pew! Oh, look away! I can get a cool swooping shot. I can get a swooping shot of the. Whoa, this is awesome.
Epic. Whoa! Look at you fly.
I'm gonna crash.
Can I try on your wings, JJ?
Sure, Wild. Hold on, let me.
Thank you.
Don't crash, Wild. Don't crash, Wild.
Don't crash.
No.
All right, hang on. I've got some rockets.
Here you are.
Look, I'm gonna be like a fairy. Look at me,
wear
JJ.
your armor, Wild. Wear your armor, just in case you crash, because you don't want to die with the wings.
Nah, it'll be fine. I'll look much prettier without my armor. Oh my gosh! Oh, the fairyland looks magnificent from up here.
It does, Wild, doesn't it?
Oh, this is fantastic. Oh, and the other thing you can see as I'm swooping around the corner here, JJ, come over to this side of the mushroom. I do believe that the wonderful Dollface, she is going to be building a magical fairy pond in this in this little kind of grotto type area of the fairyland. So I think this would be a lovely place for DG to build some more of those mushroom houses. So
I can't wait to see that. Well, could I
oh, hang on, here, have your wings back. There you go.
Thank you.
Let's see. I think if we have one of the taller ones here.
Can you have a taller one there?
Oh,
there's flowers.
Here.
Wait, these flowers?
Oh, by a taller one, I mean a smaller one of the taller ones.
A smaller one
like
of the
a smaller tall one.
A smaller tall one, okay.
Yes, one of the taller versions of the small. Well, that's very confusing.
It is very
confusing.
confusing.
And then I think
we should
smaller
probably
one
sleep
where
as well.
that pink one goes.
Well,
I would
you put
agree.
in a few more of those, and I'll go over and sleep, okay?
Maybe here. Oh, good idea. And then we can get working on the path, JJ.
We can. So let me just put these rockets away, and we can put in this path outline, Wild. And I'll grab half of this coarse dirt, half of this rooted dirt,
this side.
half of this podzol, and half of this brown mushroom block, and half of this wood.
Oh, thank you. Those are the blocks we're going to be using to create a really textured pathway. But before we can actually get adding in the pathway, we're using a shovel with some path blocks to lay out where the path's going to go. It's always a great tip because that way you can check you like the flow of the path.
Yes.
Oh, and JJ, look what I found in a chest.
What did you find, Wild?
Oh, wait.
Oh, those are my wizard boots.
No, these are my blue tap shoes.
I'm pretty sure those are my wizard boots, but we'll go with it.
Well, I cast a magical fairy spell, and now they're tap shoes. Okay. Listen, you have to be really quiet. Tip, tip, tap, tap, tip, tip.
Oh, wow. Now, that's a good start for our path there. Do you agree, Wild?
So, hang on, this needs to be a little bit thicker here. We want it to be 3 wide the whole way, and then 4 wide on the kind of connecty diagonals. So we got to go along the pathway and make sure it's like that. But it's looking pretty good, the shape, I think. Like this, looking good.
There we go.
I need to eat some of my... JJ!
Yes,
I'm all out of potatoes!
Oh, don't worry, there's some potatoes in the chest, Wild. You must have accidentally dumped them.
Oh, thanks.
So now what we're going to do is I'm going to go through and break a bunch of random blocks here. Like a bunch of just random ones. Just
quite a lot of them, really.
Majority, really. Because we're going to be adding lots of texture into this path, because it really makes it look like a path when we have texture in it.
Yes, and we'll also be using some raised blocks, some buttons, pressure plates, and trapdoors to add some texture in the height as well. Okay, I want to put my armor on and grab my potatoes. That's better. And how about I start putting in some of these texturized blocks, JG?
Oh, yes. Maybe. That's a good idea.
Oh,
Come behind me and do that.
We might even need to break more than this, but we can see how we
Yes,
go.
this is the first wave of a path breaking. But I don't want to break too much. I'd rather sort of come back and have a look go back and have a look because there's a bit of freedom in that aspect. Here we go.
And I'm going to start with the mushroom blocks and go from there.
Good idea. I will come with and put the wood because the wood sort of needs to be near the mushroom because it has that similar tone.
That's very true. And the good thing about path blocks is they also have a similar tone to the wood. So we're going with lots of browns, and I like the kind of what's the color I mean?
All the gaps you're filling in, I'm going to fill them in with wood because it's actually a good sort of proportion to go off of because we'll break more path blocks in, more path blocks to put the podzol and the rooted dirt and things like that.
Very true. I think that will be a good distribution. Okay, and I'm going to come along. And let's break some more holes.
Yes, let's break some more holes there. Because we've got...
We're going back and forth up the pathway.
Because that's already looking... Oh, did I miss those puns? Because this is already looking pretty pathy. It's looking much pathier than just a regular Minecraft path. Okay.
Yes, it is nice. Oh, now something's gone a bit weird here. The path is extra thick. I think this should go back to dirt.
So I'm going to break some more here, Wald.
That's better. Okay. Yes, I think this block needs to be broken. It just feels like the right space to break. And this one here. Because we don't want to have large patches of each of the same block.
Yes.
That won't achieve the look we're going for.
No, we want to have that sort of mixed. Because that's sort of like what a gravel path, like a gravelly, dirty sort of path is in these sort of fairy sort of... it's like a trail rather than a path, actually, when you think about it.
It is like a trail. And what we're going to be having is once we've got the actual path constructed, is we're going to be going in with some decorations along the path, which will really define the shape and make it feel more like it leads somewhere and it's not just a random path.
Are we adding in podzol as well, Wald? Look at that.
Although we might not need as much of this podzol, I'm thinking, JJ, because otherwise we're going to run out of room because we also have to put in some rooted dirt and coarse dirt.
And coarse dirt, yes.
Yes. But the podzol is very important because we want to put some mushrooms along our path.
Yes, mushrooms. Mushrooms are great in fantasy things, in fantasy builds. Mushrooms are really, when you think of a mushroom and think of what sort of build you'd use mushrooms with, it'd be fantasy and sort of that sort of style, wouldn't it, Wild?
Absolutely. Let's see, I think a coarse dirt here and maybe a rooted dirt there.
There we go. Look at that.
I'm going to put some more rooted dirt here.
Look at this.
Looking pretty good, JJ.
Well, this traily path thing is actually looking really good now. It needs to be...
it is.
Because we've got the mixture of blocks, we do need to define the edges with something like the mushrooms and the rocks and the decorations on the side. Because right now, even if I turn off shaders, it sort of still blends into the texture of the dirt because it's got that dirty, grassy texture.
Oh, and the other thing we need to do, JJ, which will help with that, is we've got some trapdoors, buttons, and pressure plates here.
Yes.
I'll toss you some. And we need to place some of those in. Yes. Now, one thing we do need to be aware of is that when we place down the trapdoors, if we place a pressure plate next to it, well then it'll flip whenever you walk, which would be terribly annoying.
Oh, and we don't want to place them on the path blocks because it will turn it into dirt.
Yes, and that would defeat the purpose of having the path blocks.
Yes. I'll go through and place the buttons, Wild. That's what I'm doing at the moment.
I can go through and place in the trapdoors and...
awesome.
What are they called? Pressy button things. What are they called, JJ? Pressure plates.
Pressure plates, there we go.
Walk on buttons.
Walk on buttons.
Walk on buttons.
Foot buttons.
Oh, this is looking great.
It is. Oh, look at this. So we got to add those in, and I got to get some materials, Wild, to do the next part.
Okie dokie, JJ.
So before we work on the rocks and the mushrooms, we are going to be working on some really, really cute archways.
Oh, these floral archways, which we're creating with some azalea leaves, are going to look really magical. And if you'd like to see a tutorial on how to create these, I actually have one of these in my 22 cottagecore decorations video.
Yes.
Which, JJ, we can put in a link in the description.
We can do that. So this is
I'll
the
show you how
archway?
to create
this is not.
these, as well as a whole load of other decorations, which you can use in your fairy world.
So this is the base of these archways. Now, it does not look very archway-ish at all. It looks like an archway, but it looks very, very boring at the moment. That is because we need to add in some bushiness, some bushes to make it overgrown, give it that fantasy sort of feel. That, wow.
Bushes and bushiness is very important indeed.
It is. We're going to add a bit of volume as well. It's a good word
Volume,
for it.
that is a very good word, JJ.
Good word for this.
It is the perfect word. Now let's build a
And some
cross
flowers, of
here.
course, because flowers are very fantasy-ish. As you can tell by the surrounding flowers. Like, look at that.
The
That's already
giant
looking better.
flowers.
Well, maybe
Okay,
not one there.
I've got to fluff up my leaves as well.
We go
so
this
one
side.
Here.
We want some flowers. Ooh, I'm falling.
You're falling, JJ. Be careful. Luckily, it's not too far to fall, like
No.
when we're building the flowers. That's a long way to fall.
No, that is a much further way to fall.
I think I'll have a leaf here.
You want
And
to keep
it's
this side?
also about walking all the way around and checking all the sides look right, isn't it, JJ?
It is. Make sure it flows together. Mm-hmm. Like that. Okay, let me just flick
Just
quickly.
taking your time. How's it looking, JJ?
Mine's looking pretty good. Let me have a glance over at yours, Wild. What do you think of mine from where you are?
I think it looks nice, JJ.
Yes, yours looks great as well.
Thank
Awesome.
you, thank you. Okay, am I happy with this? I think so, and I think I don't have any flowers on me. I'm gonna have to come in and add those afterwards. But I
I haven't got flowers. I've got flowering
might-
azaleas. That's what I was talking about.
Oh, the flowering azaleas. But I think
Yes.
some flowers would be a
Oh.
nice addition around there.
Of
There's
course,
some
of
up here
course.
in the chest. Let's see. Hello, archway.
I think we can. I reckon we could get working on the mushrooms as well now. The mushrooms.
Yes, I think so.
So I will
Let's
grab
grab
half
some
of those.
mushroom blocks.
Half of those, and where? Well, we don't have
We'll need
sandstone
some
walls.
sandstone.
Don't have
That's all right.
sandstone
We
walls.
can run and grab a stone cutter from in our little workhouse here.
Let me just sandstone walls. Boom.
Sandstone walls, sandstone walls. Now, what we actually really need is some end rods, but we don't have any of those yet. So we're going to be using sandstone walls, and we'll explain where we're going to be placing in the end rods when we get hold of them. But let's see. I think if we stick to clusters of 3 when we're creating our mushrooms, that's always a good thing to do.
Yes.
And I'll have a small one, maybe
I'll put a small one here. Big one up here. Now the big ones, we're going to put a red mushroom block in it. I mean, not a red shroom light block in it, so they glow. Look at that. I'll put another small one just here. Now
And this is a nice way to light up the path. Ooh.
The stems will be made out of end rods, so again, it'll light it up even more for these smaller ones. Are we going to have it for the bigger ones, Wild?
I think having the scale of the sandstone wall for the larger ones works really well, but with the smaller ones,
agree,
the
Will.
sandstone walls are just a little bit thick.
I agree. So maybe one here,
Looking very nice.
big one
I
over
think
here, Wild,
Maybe a cluster down here.
and then smaller one here, just there.
I'll have a big one here.
We see the mushrooms are just sort of outlining that path, so you can see where it is and you can walk through it. Wild. You've got a bit of an empty spot before your here. Maybe put a few here, maybe. Or
Well, my other plan is I would like to add some little benches, seating
yes.
spots along the pathway. So I think that would be a nice spot for that. But this is looking very pretty.
then I guess we could also have one at the start here because we have a bit of a bare spot here.
Oh yes, that'd be nice.
Be perfect.
Really inviting into the fairyland.
So what do we have to?
Okay.
What do we reckon we should add next?
Well, let's grab some warped planks and get turning them into the things to make those benches. And I'd also like to add some hanging lights for even more ambiance along the path.
How about while you do that, I grab these stone type blocks and go and cut them up into the correct materials as well.
Oh yes, to create some stones.
So my plan with these rocks is to sort of fill in some spaces with these. See, with these mushroom clusters, we've got a space, say, here. I'm going to be placing a rock here. Now, these rocks are going to be a mix of stone and andesite. That's a good rock
And JJ,
shape.
I was going to say, could you also add a rock up here near the edge? Because I'm going to have the bench probably on this side, and I think a rock would be nice here.
Okay, sure thing, Rod. I'm adding in some
Thank you.
stairs around it as well to add that sort of rocky, rugged texture because they have that dimension stairs. Oh, actually, I might put a slab there and a stair there like that. Nice looking
Looking
rock.
very nice.
Where do you want a rock, Wild?
Right here.
this
Right
side?
on. Hang on. Oh, I placed a lantern in the wrong spot and I have to get my pickaxe out. Okay, there we go. Right in the corner here.
Okay, sure, Wild.
Thank you, thank you.
I reckon a taller rock here that's partly
yes.
andesite. And we go like this, do something like that. Put a wall,
Now
a
I'm
button.
going to add a lantern in here.
That. Looking good.
I like these rocks, JJ.
What other rock?
They make
what,
me
what
very
else for
happy.
a rock? We've got a rock there, rock there. Maybe a rock on the other side here. Oh. Maybe one... Wait, what are we putting here? What do we reckon here, Wild?
Well, we do have to keep in mind. Hang on, let me break this trapdoor. I'm using
We're going to have other
utensil.
paths.
We got to have a path that's going to be coming
Yes.
here. So I think having that space is fine, but
Yep.
I think a rock might be good. You could have one here. Might be a nice space
Yes.
for a rock. And then maybe near
Just
this bush here.
I'm
on
going into
this
F5
side, like
mode, by
this.
the way, guys, so I can see a sort of further view, so I can see everything.
That's actually a very good idea, JJ. Get a wider view of the area we're working in.
Yes. Exactly, Wild.
Now, for this light, how do I want to build this? I'm going to need some scaffolding.
These
I'm
little
gonna be
buttons
using-
create pebbles for around the rock. And the wood does the same sort of thing on the path, but it's like a brown
Oh,
dirt
yes.
pebble.
Yes,
Clump.
very true.
It's
Very
a
true.
dirt clump, really.
A dirt clump. And I'm using the warped wood to create some of these decorations along the pathway here, JJ, because it adds a little pop of color, and it's a
yes.
whimsical kind of wood. I mean,
is.
you don't really get you don't
Blue
get
wood.
a lot of blue wood in real life, do you?
Not really. I can't say I've come across too much blue wood, Wild, to be quite
But
honest
you
with you.
certainly do get it in a magical fairyland.
Oh, certainly. These rocks are
Okay,
looking good, Wild. I'm going to have a quick wander down this path to see, see the
it's so
open
magical,
spaces.
JJ. I'm
start
so
here.
excited.
We're going to start here and have just a little wander down.
Okay, I'm gonna continue putting in some lights. So I'm gonna break this one here because I'm having a light post on the corner. Break,
We've got a light post going there. Oh, Wild, you might want to be careful because remember there's a path there. Okay, so that's okay because the path is here. Perfect. So down here.
I'm just replacing the light post with a
rock
much
here,
fancier
that's
light
good.
post.
We've got a rock there, and then I think a chair would be great here on this bend, Wild.
I would agree with that. Sitting under the flowers sounds like a lovely
it'd be
idea to me.
perfect. And then maybe one more rock towards the end here. We'll add in. We'll squeeze in a rock here. We'll put a rock up against this here.
Oh yes,
this
sounds
hedge.
good. Sounds like a plan. So we got
Yes.
this. There we go. And with all this lighting, JJ, hopefully we won't have too much a mob problem along the pathway.
Yes.
We've got 3 different types of lighting here. We've got the mushroom lights themselves, the overhead lighting, and then around the benches, I'm putting some lighting on posts.
Yeah.
Okay, where did you
look
say
at
would
this
be a
one.
good spot?
Yeah, right there.
Here.
Right there, Wild. It'd be perfect. It's like just
Oh,
right
I put
on
a
the
W
bend.
on the sign.
While you're finishing that, Wild, I'll go sleep because it's getting darker, isn't it?
It is starting to get towards the sunset, isn't it?
It is. Running. Wow. Doesn't this look fantastic, Wild?
Oh, it sure does. We went and added in some finishing details, like some extra slabs to make walking on the pathway nicer, some flowers and mushrooms, and some grass within the path.
And some
it
vines
really
and
finished
glowberries
it off.
on these arches. Now, the vines do have to
Oh,
grow
yes.
a little bit, so we're still waiting on those. But you can see the sort of final product that we're going to have running throughout this entire sort of a kingdom. I was going to say city, but it's a kingdom, not a city.
It is.
yes.
It's even grander than a city.
It's
and
so
we're going
lovely.
to be having a similar pathway running up towards the castle there. So you'll have to keep an eye out for future
Yes.
videos so you can see how the whole fairyland, as well as the rest of the fantasy worlds and Cavecraft, come together.
So make sure to check out the other Cavecrafters. The link for them will be in the description down below. But on that note, standing under this wonderful archway, that is going to be the end of this video, guys. We hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like, comment, and remember to subscribe if you are new, and we will see you guys later. And remember, stay carbonated!